Hey guys, this is Derek. Today I will be doing a Yahoo Fantasy Football draft. Willis and I were originally going to co-host this draft, but Willis had to work, so I'll be flying solo on this one. As you saw, he just selected Maurice Jones-Drew. As you can see, his team is White and Decker. Um, I'm not really sure who I'm going to take with my first pick. I'm picking 11th overall, which is kind of the opposite of where I was drafting in my other league. It's my pick right now. Let's see. Uh, Larry Fitzgerald, Trent Richardson. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Darren McFadden just because I'm really high on him this year, as you've heard me say in past episodes. I know he's a bit of an injury risk, but I do think this is going to be the year that he stays healthy. I think at worst he'll miss 2, maybe 3 games. Um, like I was saying earlier with my pick, in my other league I was picking fourth and selected Ray Rice. So I like that I'm picking later in this one, just because it gives me an opportunity to have like a different team, which is nice. Um, Actually, I think I'm going to pause right here just so it doesn't drag on too much. But I will be back with my next pick. Okay, and now we're back to my pick. Um, all the guys I wanted are still on the board. Um, this is actually kind of tough. Fitzgerald wouldn't be a bad pick. Um, I think it's still a little too early to take Jimmy Graham, and I kind of want to wait on a quarterback, so I'm actually going to go ahead and take Adrian Peterson, um, just because I don't know if he'll be, what AP once was, but I think an 80 to 85% Adrian Peterson is still a lot better than any of the other running backs that would still be available. Um, Trent Richardson, we don't know what's up with him. Um, like I said about Jimmy Graham, it's a little too early to take him. I considered taking Matthew Stafford, but I like to wait on a quarterback. And Marshawn Lynch, according to Yahoo rankings, is I believe right where he should be. I think ESPN has him ranked a little bit too high. But I'm actually going to pause the recording for now and then come back when it gets closer to my pick. Okay, and now we're back in the third round. There hasn't really been, well, there's been one reach thus far, but it's my pick now. Um, I'm probably going to go ahead and take a receiver. I know there's a lot available, but I want to go ahead and get a good one out of the way. So I'm going to take Hakeem Nicks, even though he has a little bit of a foot issue right now, but he's back in camp, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. But the only reach thus far has been Willis took Doug Martin with the third pick, but he actually texted me and said that he didn't mean to take Maurice Jones-Drew. His laptop kind of screwed him up, and he wanted to take a solid running back in the third, which isn't a bad idea because of the whole holdout deal. But let's see, Wes Welker just went, which at the beginning of the fourth round isn't a bad pick at all. Receiver is so deep right here that even though if you've listened to Fantasy Focus, they tell you to wait till at least the third or fourth round to take a receiver because they're so deep. But if there's one that you really want that's available in the second or third, then I would definitely recommend it, because I mean you got to get who you want. And let's see, this guy's really taking his time here with this pick. Okay, now we're back to my pick. Let's see. Wes Welker and Ahmad Bradshaw were taken back to back. I may take a quarterback, even though I said I was going to wait. or I could take another receiver. I don't know. This is really tough. Steve Smith, Miles Austin, hamstring issues. Jordy Nelson, Aaron Rodgers is going to spread the ball around this year, I believe. And I think it's too early to take Jeremy Maclin. So I'm going to take Demaryius Thomas. Those of you that have listened to the podcast, Willis is really high on Eric Decker. While I do think Eric Decker is going to have a really good year, I do think Demaryius Thomas is the more talented of the two. And if he lives up to his potential, I do think he will be a top 10 receiver this year, provided that Peyton Manning is healthy also. But I'm going to pause the recording for now, and I will see you at the 5th round. Okay, now it's to my pick. Reggie Bush just went, so I think I'm going to go ahead and lock up Peyton Manning. Plus, that gives me the ultimate punch, which I believe Willis explained in one of the episodes we did. But an ultimate punch is a quarterback-receiver combo. Like, say you have Peyton Manning and Demaryius Thomas on your team, and Peyton throws a touchdown pass to Demaryius Thomas. That gives you a lot of points at the same time, which is a pretty awesome feeling. If you get that. Let's see, Vincent Jackson just went off the board. I've got a quarterback, 2 receivers, and 2 running backs. So I think I'm going to go ahead and lock up my flex spot with Benjarvis Green-Ellis, who I think is a pretty good sleeper this year. I mean, he saw limited action with New England, but he's in a situation where he's going to be the guy. He'll get a lot more carries. I don't know if he'll get 11 touchdowns again. I don't know if he'll get more than that, I should say. I'd say he'll get maybe 13 or 14, but I do think the yardage will increase. Like, I could see him being right around 1,000 yards or maybe a little bit less. But I'm actually going to pause the recording again for now, and we will be back in the 7th round. Okay, and we're back in the 7th round. We've had our first defensive player go off the board, Patrick Peterson, which I still think it's a little too early to take a defensive player if you're going to do a draft, with individual defensive players. I would personally wait till like the 11th or 12th round at the absolute earliest, and even that might be a little too early. But I'm really not sure who I'm going to take here. I know I still need a tight end, and I'm not exactly sure who all is available. Let's see, we got Fred Davis, Jason Witten, Brandon Pettigrew. Well, Jason Witten is hurt, and we don't know if he'll be back for the season opener, so I'm not going to take him. I think I'm actually going to go with Fred Davis here. I think RG3 will be looking to him a lot, especially in the early part of the season. And Fred Davis had his moments last year, so this late I don't think is a terrible spot for him to go. A strategy that I've heard a lot is, if you can't get either Gronk or Graham in the 2nd and 3rd round, you want to wait until you're the last person to take a tight end. Well, it's not a bad strategy. I don't think that that I would personally wait that long because I still want to have a decent tight end. And let's see, it's probably going to be a pretty good while before my next pick. I don't know if, well, actually, I think I will take a backup quarterback with my next pick just because I have Peyton Manning. I think he's personally going to be fine, but he has had 4 neck surgeries and hasn't taken a hit yet. So it won't be a bad idea to take a backup quarterback here. Let's see, Donald Brown just went off the board. I'm actually pretty high on Donald Brown. I tried to get Donald Brown in a trade with someone in my other league who wanted Ryan Williams because he has Beanie Wells on his team, but that person is also quite stingy, so I wasn't able to get Donald Brown. But those that saw the Colts' first preseason game, you know what Donald Brown's capable of. So I think he could even be a decent flex spot. But let's take a look at Willis's team. He was actually the last person to take a quarterback. He took Matt Ryan, who's looked great in preseason so far. He's got Jeremy Maclin, Antonio Brown. Like I mentioned earlier, he had the issue with his laptop where it automatically selected Maurice Jones-Drew for him. Trent Richardson. Also, like I said before, Trent, had the knee scope, but I personally don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, we're both pretty high on Trent Richardson. Him maybe a little bit more than me, because he's an Alabama fan, but that's neither here nor there. And on his bench, he has Eric Decker, who we all know he's extremely high on. But CJ Spiller just went off the board, so I think I'm going to go ahead and take Robert Griffin III. I would really like to have Big Ben just because I'm a Steelers fan and I don't have any kind of Steelers players on my team yet. But RG3's upside is ridiculous, and the Steelers O-line hasn't looked that great. But I'm actually going to pause the recording for now, so I will be back at the end of the 9th round. And we're back at the end of the 9th round. Kickers and defensive players have started to go off the board. Personally, I think that Yahoo's defensive player rankings are terrible. I took a quick look at them, and it's just like they're thrown together or whatever. I don't know what their deal is. But let's see, Clay Matthews has just gone off the board. I've already got a backup quarterback. I really need to start building my bench here. Let's see. D'Angelo Williams here would not be bad, but I don't really want any part of the Carolina running back tandem. So I'm going to actually take David Wilson here, just on the odd chance that Ahmad Bradshaw gets hurt, which we know is very possible. Let's see, Jacob Tammy just went off the board. I'm going to go ahead and grab Denarius Moore here. And one thing you want to be sure to pay attention to are the bye weeks. Willis pointed this out in his mock draft. He had a lot of players with the week 7 bye week, which in a way isn't bad just because one loss shouldn't affect you, but I like to have a variety of bye weeks where I only have to change 1 or 2 people, because I really don't like to drop players on my bench just because of the odd chance that you'll never get them back. But I believe I'm going to pause the recording here for now, and we will be back at the end of the 11th round. Alright, and we're back in the 11th round. We've had some more defensive players go. DeMarcus Ware went not too long ago, who I really wanted. See, Alshon Jeffrey was picked by Willis, who he's really high on. I may spend one of these picks on a defensive player just because there's one there that I really want that I don't think will be there by the time it gets back to my 13th pick. Let's see. I'm not a Greg Little fan. Justin Blackman just went off the board. Let's see. I'm probably going to go with, let's see, there's just Jacquizz Rodgers. That wouldn't be a bad pick. Tim Hightower wouldn't be bad. I think I'm going to go with Jacquizz Rodgers. We've also mentioned that the Falcons have moved to a zone blocking scheme, which will benefit Jaquiz Rogers way more than Michael Turner. Michael Turner, I'm not high on at all. I think he's going to be one of the bigger fantasy busts of the year. See, Josh Freeman just went, and so did Desmond Bishop, which means I am going to take Sean Lee. But I guess that's all I have to say for right now, and we'll be back at round 13. Okay, and we're back in the tail end of the 13th round. This round hasn't really had any major reaches or anything. Well, Rashard Mendenhall was taken. He may actually be back sometime in October, which is kind of insane. Let's see, Brent Selleck is gone. Cedric Benson. Both Cedric Benson and James Starks went back-to-back, which is pretty surprising. I think with my next pick, I'm going to go receiver. As you can see, I've already got a backup quarterback, 2 running backs, and 1 receiver. So, according to Yahoo, this will be a bit of a reach, but I'm actually going to take Austin Collie. If you watch the first Colts preseason game, Andrew Luck targeted Austin Collie a lot, and everyone's kind of written off the Colts as, oh, they're going to be a horrible team because they have a new quarterback. I mean, they're not going to be great by any stretch of the imagination, but if Luck can play like he did in that preseason game, I think that they could easily go 500, maybe a little bit less, in my opinion. And Austin Collie is the number 2, and could be it could be argued that he could be the number 1 at some point. And as you can see, Toby Gerhart just went off the board. So I'm actually going to take Daniel Thomas, just because I'm not sure if Reggie Bush can repeat what he did last year. And Reggie Bush has had injury concerns as well. And Daniel Thomas is not a bad running back. So I'm going to pause again for now, and we'll see you at the end of the 15th round. Okay, and we're back in the 15th round. I'm probably going to go ahead and take Ruben Randall here. I know I already have Hakeem Nicks, but you never know, him or Victor Cruz could get hurt or just underperform. And honestly, I thought Ruben Randall was underrated in college. He just never really had anybody to throw to him because LSU didn't have the greatest quarterback situation in the world. Rob Baronis just went off the board. He's a very solid kicker. Let's see. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my next pick yet, so I'm actually going to go ahead and pause for now and join back right when my 16th pick hits. Okay, and we're back with the 16th round. I'm going to go ahead and take a defensive player, and as much as it's going to hurt me to do this just because I'm a Steelers fan, I'm going to take Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis, despite his age, he's still great. He plays at a high level. People say that he's the Peyton Manning of the defensive side of the ball, which I could agree with that. So far I'm really liking my team. Like my quarterback situation, love my receivers, love my running backs. My bench is pretty good too. I like having RG3. David Wilson I think will start at some point. Denarius Moore could be a sleeper. So could Jaquiz Rogers and Austin Collie. Overall, I really like my team here, but I'm going to pause it for now, and we'll be back at the end of the draft. Okay, and we're back at the very end of the draft. All I have to do is take a kicker. For the most part, it's been kickers and backup players and whatnot. The guy that I want is surprisingly still here, which is Matt Prater, who had quite a few great field goals last year after when Tim Tebow took over for Denver. And the end of the draft is here with Stephen Tulloch. Overall, I really, really like my team. I mean, Darren McFadden, I do think is a bit of a reach in the first round, but I really wanted him, so I just felt like I had to do it.
I'm very happy with my starters.
Overall, I really like my lineup. Even my bench, I'm a fan of. But I guess that'll be the end of this podcast. I'm going to try and get Willis to for us to do an episode here soon. Preseason is halfway over, and there's been quite a few stories break out, and I noticed that some of you guys have been leaving comments on the YouTube videos, which is great. Leave questions. If anybody's listening from the Yahoo message boards, once we decide when we're going to do another podcast, I'll post a thread, and you guys can leave questions, and we will try our best to answer them. But until next time, this is Derek, and hopefully you were entertained by this, and hopefully it helps you out. But I'll talk to you guys next time.